Hey there, Heather. Ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome to yet another Degrassi video, a Degrassi top 10, if you will. A while ago, I did a top 10 list of bad characters doing good things, and the countdown is this. Just gonna look at my paper. So I put Rick at number 10 because the only good thing about him, originally put Rick in because he won the quiz competition for Degrassi, but then I decided to change it up. If I had known about this, I probably would have made Rick a little higher. But anyway, Rick, by dying, the only good thing is he's dead. He was dead, and Degrassi didn't have to deal with court cases and didn't have to deal with a lot of more repercussions because of the whole Rick situation. 9 was Sig about helping Zoe and Maya out. Sig was kind of a jealous prick towards any guy who had attention for Maya. And then Owen was next. He was to help Tristan out with his trying to come out of the closet, even though that Owen was homophobic in a sense. Then number 7 was Jay, who helped Sean out in season 6 and all that, despite the fact that Jay did tell Sean to leave the scene of an accident. Number 6 was Derek and him helping Liberty out when Liberty was having postpartum and her parents didn't give a crap, saying that you could put a memory chest for your child that's going to be adopted and move to Seattle. Yeah, that was before Derek became a massive douche. Number 5 is Raditch. A lot of people say, why is he a bad character? Well, the whole Rick situation. But you gotta remember, Raditch didn't let Rick down, yes, but he let the students down by letting Rick back in the first place. And he didn't want to listen to their qualms and all that. So yeah, Raditch's one major moment in Next Gen was helping Craig out at the end of season 2. Telling Craig he doesn't have to come to school and all that, but Craig goes, and then Raditch tells everyone to let Craig let off some steam because of the whole luau dancing. Number 4 was Esme and her helping Maya out and making sure Maya didn't choke on her vomit or something in season 3, the next class's finale when Maya tries to kill herself. Number 3 is Johnny, who helped Allie realize she couldn't run away from her problems in season 10 because Johnny said that I have the guilt of being with Drake Lampley when he stabbed JT in the aorta. Number 2 was Peter, who I thought was number 1. I picked number 1, but it's the poll said number 2. Was Peter for helping Darcy in season 7, even though he was a complete douchebag, but he helped Darcy get over her rape. And number 1, voted by the fans, was Lucas for standing up for Jane in season 8. Lucas wanted his dad back in his life, but then realizes Jane was sexually molested and basically wanted to stop his dad from going after Izzy, his kid. And then Lucas steps up to the plate and finally decided to be a good dad. But then he vanishes. We don't know what happens. And Jane doesn't give any updates. Fuck. So anyway, that's what was the last top 10, the top 10 bad to good. Now we're doing the reverse Uno card. And that's right. It's the top 10 good characters doing bad things. I had 17 of them and all that. Here's who did not make the top 10. I put Allie in, and they said, well, her gambling. Paige dealing with Olander and covering for him. Because, yeah, Olander was the bad guy in the situation, but Paige tried to cover for Olander when meeting with Hatzelakos and Simpson, even though that Simpson was trying to help Paige out. Liberty for her jealousy over JT being with Mia in season 6, which cost a lot of things. JT was going to go to Liberty after all. Maya for not telling people about Cam. I know it seems like bad, but it would have given her more sympathy, and people wouldn't think she was a prick. And Jimmy for the stealing Spinner's ADD pill in season 1. I did 2 polls, 1 to 6 and 7 to 12. Here's who did not make the top 10. The 2 honorable mentions who missed the top 10 in the 7 to 12 poll were Terry spreading the rumor about Liberty Terry and Hazel overhear Emma tell Manny about the fact that she saw Armstrong put an arm around Liberty and wasn't sure what to do. And Manny says, I think it's nothing. And then they spread the rumor, and Emma takes fault for it. And Claire also missed the cut with her weak cult thing because she was living in a bad situation. Her parents had just divorced and all that. It seemed like neither parent wanted her. And, she wanted to be with Jake, but there was double standards and all that. And she was just upset and decided to run away with this person. And then she finds out she's in a weed cult and decides to stay at the weed cult because she kind of felt needed. But of course, when she hears about her parents questioning things, Jake gets Claire to realize her mistake, and Claire stops doing what she's doing. All right, so that's it. Now it's time for the top 10 as voted by the fans of Reddit. Number 10 is Sav. Why? Well, he's a good character because he was a decent person and trying to get out of his Muslim faith in a time. But his biggest crime, stringing Anya along. Anya, unfortunately, was basically known as Holly J's shadow for many seasons and all that. And Holly J just trying to get out of trouble with Anya. But yes, Anya loved Sav. She said she could understand the Quran and all that, but Sav's parents basically didn't want to and put an arranged marriage on Sav. But basically, Sav should have been nicer to Anya and all that, not realizing how much Anya really clung on to Sav because, she had things going on in her personal life and she just didn't do well and all that. I know Anya kind of would be a good character, but I put her in a morally gray type of thing because, Anya did some bad stuff, but I don't think she's like a good character. I think she's just more like someone who likes to take orders. That's why she's in the military. So basically, yeah, Sav for stringing Anya along and being with Holly J behind Anya's back. All right, so number 9 on the list is Marco for his gambling thing. Now, of course, I guess this was the college years or something like that of Degrassi, which I didn't really watch, so I can't really comment too much on it. But Marco, why is he a good character? Well, what controversy did he bring? He came out of the closet in season 3, was big and all that, and despite Spitter being a giant asshole about it, he got everything going. And Spitter finally came around near the end of season 3. Even though, yeah, Marco coming out of the closet, it actually helped Adamo Ruggiero, the guy who played Marco, come out of the closet himself. So it worked. So anyway, Marco, this gambling thing. Well, Marco was good for a lot of things, but I don't know much about the gambling, so that's just how it is. Don't worry, I will make sure that the polls will get to the end of the video. Anyway, number 8 on the list is Adam texting and driving, the event that killed Adam off. Now, a lot of people were upset with Degrassi doing that, getting rid of Adam and all that. I know Adam's actress, yeah, it was a woman, because Adam, why is he a good character? Because he brought transgender characters into the Canadian TV lexicon. I believe it was the first trans character on a Canadian show. Of course, Degrassi is Canadian, and I'm from Canada, so it fits. So anyway, yeah, Adam was a good character and all that for trans youth and all that to see from a girl to a boy and trying to get through the fact that his family had stereotypes about him. But the fact of the matter is that Adam was a decent character and good representation. And then all of a sudden, the actress wanted to move on to other things, so they just basically killed off Adam for texting and driving. Adam does recover in a sense, but then dies after surgery. And, everyone was shocked. Drew's crying face was just one of the worst memes you can imagine. And, there is a thing for Adam, and Becky has a memorial for Adam and all that, despite the fact that Becky's parents are douchebags and all that, and protect, Luke. They wanted Becky to lie, saying that Becky didn't know much about the whole thing with Luke and Neil going after Zoe in season 13. Becky, obviously, like, I could have made her a good girl, but a lot of people put her in the gray section, if you will, because, of her transphobia at first. But yeah, Becky helps Adam out and all that. Say what you want, but I think that Becky's parents low key hated Becky for wanting to be with Adam and protecting Adam. They couldn't kick Becky out because obviously Becky might go to the cops. Becky should have just went to the cops or something, and then the parents would have got some kind of trouble. But yeah, they killed Adam off by texting and driving. Kind of dumb, don't you think? It's like killing JT off with the stabbing. Because allegedly Ryan Cooley wanted to move on to university and all that, but they were going to get rid of him anyway. Um, now the polls say that this number 7 is actually number 6 got to the 1 and to 6. But when I looked at it, I said number 6 and number 7 should be reversed. So I'm going to do a reversal. So the new number 7 is the one who lost out in the 1 to 6 poll, was Jane cheating on Spinner. Jane was good to Spinner, and Spinner was good to Jane. It was a decent relationship, a low key relationship. Spinner wanted to take Derek and the football team to task over their abuse of Jane and all that. I know I said in previous videos that I wish Spinner had taken some accountability and beat up Derek and his group for hurting Jane, but Jane told Spinner to stay out of it. Although Spinner would have done something about it. Nevertheless, Jane and Spinner were there. And then, of course, Degrassi takes Manhattan. The season 9 Degrassi movie happens. Jane falls in love with this band guy in Manhattan alongside Holly, Jay, Declan, and Fiona. And, Spinner is bummed about it. And then the next day, he's bummed when the dot burns down thanks to Emma using a sandwich maker. I mean, Emma working at the dot? Man, she's fallen. Anyhow, Spinner and Emma end up getting married in Niagara Falls. They wanted to break it off, but then they decided they should stay together. I guess because they both figured that they needed each other. Emma kind of should have been with Sean, but who knows? Maybe Sean may have been hurt in the army and Emma didn't want to deal with him. I don't know. Nevertheless, um, oh, I forgot to say, yeah, Jane was a good person because she was decent, and the whole season 8 episode about her being sexually assaulted by her dad was just fantastic and all that. As I said, because Lucas, you know, was a giant prick, and then he finally snapped out of it and wanted to help Jane out and try to be better. And then poof, he's off the show. But nevertheless, yeah, Jane cheated on Spinner. Jane actually hears that Spinner was going to have some nuptials with Emma and wanted to stop it. She swipes Holly J's car, gets back to Toronto, and then gets in a literal fight with Manny, and then realizes she can't hurt Spinner and let Spinner be happy. Number 6 on the list, who won the 7 and 12, but I've moved her to number 6, is Manny. Why is Manny a good character? Because a lot of people just love her. They say she's the best character in Degrassi history. I would probably say Jimmy or Spinner. Well, of course, Spinner I'm a little uneasy about. And yes, Spinner will be next. Will be coming up in the countdown soon. But nevertheless, Manny was a decent person, despite the fact that she wanted attraction and all that. She wanted someone to love her and all that. And she kind of got a little bit too much attraction from people. But anyway, number 6 is Manny dealing with the love triangle in season 3. She was in a love triangle with Craig and Ashley. And Manny wanted to be hot. In season 3, she made the declaration that she wanted to be hot, not cute, because puppies and kitties are cute. But I want to be hot. Emma's not too pleased about it, and Manny, of course, parades with the falling outside her pants. She gets in trouble with Radich, who says no visible underwear outside the pants, which is real true. I mean, a lot of schools have that rule and all that. Manny decides not to wear underwear and then bends down, but then JT stops it and all that. Emma wanted to fix JT with Manny, even though JT had some sexual urges towards her. Nevertheless, Manny loved Craig and all that. Craig chose Manny over Emma in season 2. And Emma, of course, was heartbroken because Emma helped Craig out with his dad in season 2 at the start, of course. But yeah, Manny, stringing Craig along, you know, um, being at the rave, trying to help Emma get to Chris. But then Emma leaves early. No, Manny and Craig leave before Emma, and then Emma decides she can't be an evil person and decides to leave the rave, and then Manny and Craig have sex in Emma's bed. And Emma's not too pleased about it. And of course, Emma and Manny break off as friends and all that. One of the few times Emma was in the right about things. The fact of the matter is that, yeah, she gets impregnated by Craig and all that. She wants to get rid of the baby and all that. Of course, Emma's not too pleased with it because abortion is a hot button topic for her. Craig wants the kid. Of course, Craig does not tip his hand and say that the only reason why he wanted the kid was because, he had no family left. He doesn't treat Joey that well. Joey married Julia, Craig's mother, who left Albert behind. And then Albert probably uses Craig as a punching bag for his emotions for Julia leaving him. Nevertheless, lost my train of thought. But anyway, yeah, because Craig's parents are both dead. Julia died of a disease, and Albert died in that accident in the end of season two. Probably got so enraged he ended up crashing his car accidentally. Nevertheless, yeah, Craig never tipped his hand. Emma does protect Manny, saying that it's her body and her choice. Of course, Manny and Craig do have off and on again things and all that. Ashley should never have gotten back with Craig in season three. Craig was the scumbag and all that, and Ashley had every right to get away from her. But okay, but I guess she wanted somebody. Number five on the list is Emma. Why is she a good character? Well, she was the main protagonist and all that, and people do have good vibes towards Emma and kind of are decent towards her. I would kind of put her in the middle ground myself, but like she wasn't like a bad character. She had her good moments. And a lot of her bad stuff is just basically misunderstanding or her carpe diem sees the day thing and basically not knowing both sides of the debate. Nevertheless, Emma's biggest mistake was being with Peter in the first place. Yes, you could say that, spread the rumor about Liberty, although she was just only confiding in Manny. Her her season two blow up phase, which she blowed out about almost everything, including her mother dating her teacher. I mean, come on, what student would want that? And then, almost ruining Spike and Snake's wedding because Spike was going to abort baby Jack and all that. And Emma buttered her nose in. And of course, the whole genetically modified foods thing when she butted head with Raditch, and Raditch was being a prick about it. I mean, Emma was being a prick too. Like, nobody won in the end. Like, Emma may have won out by basically outing Raditch's policies and all that, but she was kind of overreactionary. And Raditch, you know, won out because Emma overreacted. But Raditch was the adult in the situation and didn't act like it. You could also say, Emma with the whole thing in season four with the orange ribbon campaign. But the students took orange ribbon campaign in the wrong sense. I mean, can you blame Emma for being freaked out? And then, Emma being with Sean in season six, trying to cling on to Sean in season six, and then going with Damien in season seven to get over Sean abandoning her, quote unquote, and her judgment of Manny and all that. I could have just said, well, Emma's judgment of Manny and all that. But I think that her biggest faux pas was being with Peter in the first place. Peter was scum. Everyone knew it. Everyone told Emma about it, but Emma refused to listen. Emma was in such a phase that she wanted a boy to like her and all that. In season five, she said at the beginning, she said, with Peter, I never liked a boy since Hurricane Sean blew through my emotional trailer park, which of course meant that, she was upset that Sean left her in season four after the shooting and all that. He had to. He had PTSD and he had to go home to his parents and all that. And I don't think Emma and Sean would have been a couple because Sean and Ellie were a couple. Nevertheless, she wanted to be with Peter, even though Peter um, shared a video of Manny baring her breasts, saying, I want to be famous. Like, Emma at first was actually unsure if she wanted to just be with Peter. She actually was going to help Manny out by doing reverse porn, revenge porn thing. But then when she sees Peter's shirtless pics, she changes her mind and wants to be with Peter. Of course, her marriage falling apart because of Snake cheating on Hatzelackles, which we will get to later on. Um, Being with Peter and being told to lose weight, helping Manny lose weight for a role. Emma was in a gray area. Emma had an eating disorder. Peter actually did the right thing by telling Manny that he thinks that Emma has an eating disorder, and then Emma is forced to confront it. And of course, she lies about things, and she has a panic attack, goes to the hospital, and beats the eating disorder in a sense. And then she's with Peter. Everyone accepts Peter and Emma, except for when Sean comes back in season six and kind of steals Emma's heart. Peter, of course, thinks that Sean is going to destroy the relationship, so he takes it upon himself to get Emma back by planting drugs in Sean's locker. They have that street race, and then Emma finally realizes Sean was the good guy and Peter was the bad guy, and breaks off with Peter. But yeah, Emma with Peter was the thing. Now, of course, I guess it scores low on this list because of the fact that Emma was in a bad frame of mind. She wasn't the Emma from the first four seasons. she was more clingy towards finding a boyfriend and being with friends. You can see it. Nevertheless, Emma diatribe over. Number 4 is JT. Why is he a good character? A lot of people think he was just a class clown and just comic relief. I don't think so. JT had his good moments. I mean, yeah, his mistreatment of Toby, and I should have put that in for JT's reason is his mistreatment of Toby and all that. But JT did something way worse. In season 5, he sold drugs. The background is that JT and Liberty, well, Liberty always had a thing for JT, and JT didn't reciprocate her feelings until season 4 when they do the Radishes song. Well, because Raj wanted a hokey musical to make sure Degrassi looked good because, Degrassi was on the 6 o'clock news for all the wrong reasons. I mean, I can't blame Raj for that, but he didn't help the school out. And I think he got canned because of that. Regardless, Liberty and JT serve detention together and they both reciprocate their feelings towards each other. And then Liberty reveals that she's pregnant with JT's kid 5 months along and JT crashes his car. JT decides to be a pharmaceutical assistant because it pays more than his TV job. So he does that, and then who should pop out of the picture, but into the picture, but Jay, who basically tells JT, if you can sell OxyContin, you'll make a lot of cash. I know people who will sell their own mothers for this stuff. So JT swipes some stuff and deals with a drug dealer. He looks good, but then he gets caught, and then he's in deep trouble with the pharmacist and all that. He tries to get out of it. Liberty tells him to get out of it. He tries to get out of the drug guy, but he refuses to listen. He makes a diatribe to Jay, but all Jay says is bummer times. At least there's a party. And then JT decides to overdose on purpose, I guess, realizing his life's out of control. Fortunately, Jay calls 911 and JT's stomach gets pumped and all that. So JT stays living. He has to go through suicide watch and counseling. Liberty decides to give up the kid, saying that JT was not a good father, despite the fact that JT was doing all he could. I mean, he wasn't going to run out of the kid like JT's dad did on him. But of course, there was a lot of friction and all that. Liberty does deserve some blame in the fact, but the writers did put JT as a good guy and Liberty's a bad guy. I don't know why. All right, number 3 is Spinner. Why do people think he's a good guy? Well, when I did polls years ago, they said that he's the greatest character in Degrassi history. Maybe, maybe not. But yes, Spinner had his good moments, especially after season 4. Like, season 4 was basically the turning point in his character. Yeah, season 1, he was a bully towards Jimmy and all that, and stole Jimmy's MP3 player in season 2, and in season 3, he was just a jerk to Marco. But the fact of the matter in season 4 was the reason why he's on this list is what he did in season 4. It wasn't just what he did to Jimmy, it was what he did overall in the whole Rick situation. Spinner had a right to get mad that Rick was back at Degrassi. Heck, he saw Rick with blood on his hands towards Terry. He wanted to go after Rick, but Paige stops him. Spinner had a good reason to get mad and be anti-Rick. But basically, there was a bit of a bully campaign, the Orange Ribbon campaign helped. But yeah, after that, he, Jay, and Alex were the only ones to really bully Rick. Especially after Rick Jimmy was part of the group too, but Rick told Jimmy about the fact that this is going on too far. And now that Toby is associated with Rick, he's going to get hurt. And Jimmy thinks twice about what he does. And then Jimmy basically protects Rick in front of Spinner, Jay, and Alex, who are really upset by it. Spinner and Jay concoct a plan with paint and feathers, getting Rick to believe their bullshit so that he doesn't think that the paint and feathers are going to hit him. And they do, and all that. Spinner does the stupidest thing, and by bragging about the prank to Jimmy, and Spinner realizing that Jimmy will narc. Well, of course, there's the deleted scene in which Spinner gets caught making chicken noises towards Rick, and Radish calls him out on it. But yeah, if you don't believe that, like Spinner is upset, thinking, "Oh no, Jimmy's going to narc on me," and then Jay decides to try to help Spinner out to alleviate his guilt by saying blaming Jimmy for everything. Spinner plays along with it, and of course, Jimmy gets shot. Of course, Spinner didn't know that Rick had a gun, but then when Spinner hears about the shooting, he puts two and two together and thinks, "Oh my God, he had a gun and he shot Jimmy. They're gonna know. I gotta tell somebody." But of course, Spinner doesn't know that Rick is dead, that he had a second altercation. So basically, Spinner's racked with guilt. He doesn't go to the hospital because he doesn't want to alleviate because he's going to spill his guts. It takes 3 months for Jimmy to recover and then come back to Degrassi. Everything looks good. Then Spinner decides the right thing to do is to tell Jimmy the truth. You could say it all you want, maybe not. That wasn't the best idea, but Spinner wanted to alleviate his guilt. What do you expect? Of course, Spinner gets ostracized by the school, and Jimmy tells him off, and then Spinner decides to tell Hatzleckos everything and implicates Jay, but not Alex. Mostly because of the fact that Jay and Spinner tricked Rick into going after Jimmy, and Alex had nothing to do with it. The paint and feathers, yes, but Alex had nothing to do with the end result of the gun violence and all that. He gets expelled. He gets allowed to come back in season 5 and put on a short leash by Hatzleckos, and Spinner makes every effort to get his friends back. It takes the full season, but he gets the job done and he's not pushy and all that. So good on him. Number 2 on the list is Snake. Why is he a good character? Well, he is a Degrassi original, and what problems did he do in Next Gen? He was a good guy. Dude had leukemia, had to beat leukemia. He got together with Spike. There were hints about that in Degrassi High season 2. But the fact of the matter is that, Snake was a good guy. Like, okay, maybe him being principal was not the best thing, but Snake was good to a fault. But what did he do that was pissy? It wasn't his principal stint. It was the fact that he cheated on Spike in season 5. That was very out of character. Very. 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 So anyway, Snake was a good guy. And then season 5, he ends up buying a motorcycle because he has a midlife crisis and finds out that Hatzleckos rides a hog. So basically, they bond over motorcycles. They decided to share a kiss during the James Silent Bob premiere. And of course, Peter and Emma catches them after they try to do their rendezvous. And then Emma doesn't know what to do. Snake begs Emma not to tell, but Emma tells Spike everything, and Spike gets mad at Snake, not just because Snake had to kiss with Hatzleckos, but because he was pressuring Emma to keep quiet. Of course, Emma's problems there. Snake does win Spike back, thank goodness for that. And he sells the bike for tickets to New York and all that. Happy, happy, happy. Yeah, Snake being principal, he made some mistakes and all that, especially, I think, in the whole Black Lives Matter thing in next class. I know Tiny didn't want anything to do with it, but, they wanted to help Tiny out. Snake was basically told facts that, the school board and him probably are not good to minorities and all that. Snake didn't want anything ruining his big Degrassi reunion thing and all that. I like Throwback Thursday, but it seemed like Snake was a giant prick. That's just my opinion. But yeah, he was principal. But he also had Audra Torres looking over his shoulder. I just wish that he confronted her and just said, "Fuck you, I quit." And number 1, well, I voted for Spinner at number 1, but I didn't. But number 1 is what I guess probably would have been my number 2, but no, it's not. It's Darcy. Why is she a good character despite her things? Well, she was portrayed as a goody-goody Christian and getting under everyone's skin for the first few seasons. But she became more human and all that, and more understanding with Spinner and all that stuff. Although her parents didn't like it. But Darcy's biggest mistake was accusing Simpson of inappropriate behavior in season 7. So, yeah, Darcy has a relationship with Peter, which is terrible. I mean, why would Peter have a relationship with Darcy? Peter and Darcy thankfully are allowed to continue by Hatzleckos, but Darcy's parents not so much. I mean, I get it. Darcy got in a lot of trouble thanks to Peter. I don't know why Darcy wanted to be with Peter. But anyway, Darcy, Peter, and Manny go to a ski weekend, and then someone slips something into Darcy's drink, and then Darcy wakes up thinking that she and Peter had sex, but nope, it was a rapist, and then she worries about this getting out, and especially to her parents, who expect her to be this good Christian character. And then Darcy falls into a period of self-loathing. She actually slits herself in the shower. I know that I shouldn't have had a trigger warning, but that's just how it is. And unfortunately, Darcy, well, hurts herself. But Manny finds her in time and then takes her to the hospital. Darcy doesn't know what to do. She confides in Simpson that she was raped and all that. But then Darcy has an attraction to Simpson, a fatal attraction, if you will. And, she gets called in to a meeting with her mom and Hatzalakos and Simpson. But Darcy decides to not tell the truth to her mom and basically makes inappropriate statements about Simpson, inaccurate statements, if you will. And Simpson gets suspended. And Hatzalakos is saying we have to investigate. Darcy then gets confronted by Emma over these things and then decides to jump off the roof, but Manny, in her blonde face, decides to help Darcy out and basically says, Darcy, you have to tell everyone the truth about it because if you don't, I will. So Darcy decides to tell everyone that Simpson was not inappropriate with her and tells Snake that, I told everyone, then you might come back to school. But Snake says, I think that it's not going to happen because they're still going to have to investigate. So, of course, Snake forgives Darcy and all that. But Darcy doesn't forgive herself. And then she goes to Brad camp because of her falling apart by her Christian parents. And then she finally gets the confidence to, you know, go after a rapist in effect. She will not know his name or his face, but she says, I'm not going to let this hurt me. And Peter does the right thing by helping her out. And Darcy becomes better towards people. But of course, the story doesn't end with there. The whole fact is that Simpson still is in trouble because people will think that Simpson pressured Darcy into telling the stuff. But yeah, Simpson gets cleared eventually. Unfortunately, though, it causes a lot of friction as he tries to go back to Degrassi. But the Lakehurst students, especially Lucas, make his life a living hell. Emma tries to protect Snake as best as she can, but Spike even tells Snake, don't let Emma get in control of the situation. You know what happened the last time she got in control? And that was the eating disorder. Well, come on, Spike. Are you fucking nuts? Sorry, but I hate Spike because of that. But Emma basically stays with Snake, even though that Spike takes Jack to her mother's and says someone has to be an adult about it, and basically gives a massive burn to Spike. Thankfully, though, Simpson does better. He goes back to school with no implications, and the Lakers didn't want to fuck him up, but he's safe. So anyway, that's for dealing with my 32-minute diatribe about good characters doing bad things. We all make mistakes once in a while, so take it with a grain of salt. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.